Welcome to America, everyone. Soberoni of G&A Reviews here with a servant spotlight for the Thot Queen herself, Medb. We'll be examining her stats and skills, as well as going over pointers on how to utilize her effectively, and an overall grade comparing her to how she stacks up to the other 5-star servants. I also have a spotlight up for the other 4-star story unlock, Li Shuwen, up on the channel as well, so do check it out right after this. Now onto Medb's stats. Medb has a strong max HP of 13,968, which is the second highest among all 5-star riders and above average when compared to all other 5 stars overall. However, her max attack of 10,296 is the lowest among all 5-star riders and very near the bottom of all 5 stars overall, with a lot of 4 stars even having a higher attack rating. Taking a look at her skills, her first skill is Golden Rule Body, rank A, which grants debuff immunity for 3 turns, restores HP between 500 and 1000 for 3 turns depending on level, and increases your Noble Phantasm gauge for 3 turns by 10%. Medb's second skill is Charisma rank B, which increases the attack of all allies for 3 turns between 9 to 18% depending on level, and that can be upgraded through an interlude to Queen's Discipline rank A, which increases the attack of all allies between 10 to 20% and increases the attack of male allies for 3 turns between 10 to 20%, as well as restoring her own HP between 1000 and 2000, all depending on level. And finally, her last skill is Siren Song rank C, which has between a 50 to 80% chance to inflict charm on male enemies for 1 turn. For her passives, she has Magic Resistance rank B, which increases debuff resist by 17.5%, and Riding rank A, which increases quick card effectiveness by 10%. As for her deck and Noble Phantasm, Medb has a balanced Buster deck with Quick, Arts, Buster, and a Buster Noble Phantasm. Her Noble Phantasm is Chariot My Love, which deals significant damage to a single enemy with between a 600 and 1000% damage modifier, depending on level. It also deals special damage to men between 150 to 200% depending on overcharge, and decreases mental debuff resist between 10 to 50% depending on overcharge. This can be upgraded through an interlude, which will increase the damage modifier to between 800 to 1200% depending on level. And it will also increase the mental debuff resist for 3 turns between 20 to 60% depending on overcharge. Taking a closer look at her cards, we see that her quick card hits 3 times, her arts hits twice, her buster hits once, and her extra attack hits 7 times. She has a Noble Phantasm gain rate of 0.86% and a star rate of 9%. This gives her above average Noble Phantasm gain and decent star generating as well due to the high hit counts on her extra card. Medb is our first single target 5-star rider, which already gives her a good advantage when it comes to taking out bosses or stronger enemies. But on top of this, she also has a strong anti-male trait on her Noble Phantasm, so it can do tremendous damage to males, especially post-interlude. And with both casters and berserkers being among the more male-heavy classes, you can expect Medb's bonus damage to come into play fairly often. Her anti-male focus makes her very similar to Orion and Uriel, but unlike them, she is a Buster Servant, which gives her access to much better supports like Nightingale and eventually Merlin. Medb also has a decent skill set. Her charisma is the same as Arturia's, making it a decent party buff, but post-interlude it gains a massive power spike. Queen's Discipline is a very strong support skill, and it's very similar to Liz's female-only attack buff, but it also comes with a nice heal. Queen's Discipline obviously won't give Medb the full effect of the buff, but it'll allow her to be a good support for a male servant like Hercules or Gil. The fact that the skill has such a short cooldown makes it that much better since you can keep it active for the majority of any battle. Golden Rule Body is Medb's other notable skill, and it's quite good. Debuff immunity for 3 turns is great, especially in challenge quests, and the heal provides a really good source of tankiness for her. The heal on Golden Rule combined with the one from Queen's Discipline and her naturally high HP makes her a bit harder to take down, and the passive Noble Phantasm gain from Golden Rule is also great and pretty much is equivalent to a 30% Noble Phantasm charge over 3 turns. This can really help you set up your Noble Phantasms, and combined with her naturally high Noble Phantasm gain, it should make getting Medb's Noble Phantasm a lot easier. Unfortunately, her last skill is just a charm, which is already a worse version of a stun, and it doesn't have nearly as high a success rate as some other charms like Uriel's, so don't expect to land it all the time. It is worth noting that your Noble Phantasm will make enemies more susceptible to the charm, but unless you overcharge it significantly, it's not a noticeable effect. So overall, it's a pretty underwhelming skill. I recommend maxing Charisma and Queen's Discipline first, since Medb needs the attack buff, followed by Golden Rule because leveling it only increases the HP recovery effect, and then finally Charm. Because her skills are so varied, Medb can be a decent tank support or a good offensive servant provided you're facing a male enemy. However, despite not being all that bad, she isn't all that good either, especially within her own class. Both Ozymandias and Quetzalcoatl are 5-star single target buster riders that are not limited and both far outperform Medb. As a buster servant, your most important job is damage output, and Medb's incredibly low attack makes her damage very subpar. Unless she's using her Noble Phantasm against a male caster or berserker, she isn't going to be doing that much damage, especially compared to the behemoths that are Ozzy and Quetzalcoatl, two of the strongest servants in the game. Low attack is definitely her biggest weakness, but she also suffers from an overall lack of focus in her skill set, which is a mix of a support and tank, and a very weak charm. Having a more focused skill set would have benefited Medb a lot more because as of now, outside of being a niche support for male servants, she doesn't do anything else well in particular. Medb's best use is in an offensive team where she can benefit from buffs while also providing them, especially when paired with men. Gil, Herc, Kentucky, Lubu, Rama, Li Shuwen, Caesar, and pretty much any male servant will pair well with her in that regard. Alternatively, she can be your primary attacker as well, especially if you're facing male enemies, in which case Waver, Nightingale, Hans, Caesar, Lancer Liz, Shakespeare, Nero Bride, and Helena work very well to maximize her damage output. Her Bondcraft Essence is Sacred Springs, which boosts the party Noble Phantasm gain by 15%. Not a good Bondcraft Essence at all. 15% Noble Phantasm gain isn't a whole lot, besides which it doesn't help Medb in any of the areas that she needs it. If anything, her Noble Phantasm gain is the last thing you need to worry about. Instead, you'll want to bolster Medb's attack damage as much as possible, even if you are using her more as a support. Limited Zero, Heaven's Feel, and Black Grail are the best options for her. Black Grail is especially great on her because the majority of her damage comes from her Noble Phantasm, and she has more than enough healing to offset the burn damage. Hell, with Golden Rule active, you'll gain more HP than you lose per turn. Also, as a rider, Medb has naturally high star weight and will crit very often, making Victor from the Moon a decent choice as well, or 2030 can be a good complement to her already decent star generating, if you're supporting a crit servant like Rama or Emiya. You can also go full meme and use Holy Shroud of Magdalene to make Medb the ultimate male-dominating Thot. Overall, Medb can be a flexible servant, making for a strong support for your male servants, or an even more situational boss killer. Her tankiness is surprisingly strong in most situations, but she's held back a lot by her ridiculously low attack stat, a pretty bad skill in charm that ruins an otherwise good skill set, and the fact that far better non-limited alternatives exist. So Medb gets a B- from me. She can be strong situationally and provides good utility as a male support, but outside of that, she falters a lot and is very subpar. If she received a buff to her charm, I think she would be in a much better spot. And those are my thoughts on Medb. Good luck if you're rolling for her, I know I will. And remember, a roll for Medb is a roll for love. Don't forget to check out the Li Shuwen Spotlight, links both on screen right now and in the description below. Don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and consider subscribing if you really enjoyed the video. Join the party over our Discord, chill with us on Twitch, and follow us on Twitter. And I'll see you all in the next Spotlight. Soberoni out. Later.